Hello, welcome back to my channel, Goddess of Gore. My name is Vix and I like to talk about horror, thriller, fantasy and sci-fi books. I managed to read and finish 4 books this week, so grab yourself a quick drink and I will tell you all about them because there's been a couple of doozies this week. Let's get on with it. So I had just finished the week of Wyrd, and although I had a lovely time, I was very much ready to get back to my regular schedule, and I started it off with The Writing Retreat by Julia Bartz. Oh dear me. What can I say about this? I really didn't enjoy this at all. There were too many secrets, too much not being told. Literally everyone was shady and not telling the truth. I knew no one's true story and I felt like we're being told a little smidge of every character and then they all say, phew, I'm glad nobody really knows what happened. And then nobody is telling the truth. And when nobody is telling the truth, I don't want to know anymore. Like, if you're not going to tell me, then fine. Keep your secrets. I'm over it. It just didn't work for me at all. All the reveals were mediocre at best. I kept thinking the reveal won't live up to this crappy build-up. And guess what? It didn't. I felt like saying, wow, is that it? Is that the reveal? Okay then. It pretty much stayed like this all the way through. There were no surprises, no edge of seats, no, just dull and boring and very obvious storylines. So, as much as I can say without spoilers, this was about Alex. Now, she has always wanted to be a successful author, and when she submits a sample of her work for a writing competition with her role model, the best female horror writer in the business, Rosa Vallow, she jumps at the chance, except she doesn't get in until she gets a phone call to say, someone's just dropped out, do you want the place? Okay then. A month in a secluded mountain retreat with her role model, of course she wants it. The trouble is, Alex has done something wrong, but she's not going to reveal that. Just know that she did something, and it was bad. And Alex is going to tell you over and over how she did something bad. But she didn't mean it. Or maybe she did. That bad thing that she did. And this went on and on and on and on and on about how she couldn't get over the thing she's not going to tell you about. And Rosa, that accomplished author, also did something bad. And she's not going to tell you about it either. And so has every other writer at the retreat. They were all so secretive. Get over yourselves, people. And then they show their tell and ooh, isn't it bad? Aren't we evil? No, you're not. You hyped it up so much, it's now meaningless. So that's what I thought of that. Read it, don't read it. If you liked it, good. Let me know what you enjoyed about it. And then I finally, oh my God, finally finished The Magician's Daughter. My God, this bloody book. I got back to The Magician's Daughter by H.G. Parry, and I wish I hadn't. It dragged so much and it put me in a right slump. This was too long and too repetitive. I feel like I'm being repetitive, moaning about how bad my books were. I didn't want to pick it up after the really long chapters, and this book slumped me big time. But I kept telling myself not to start anything new because I would never finish it and it would join Vita Nostra on my unfinished list. So what was it that ruined the book? Well, the whole book seemed to be about a girl named Biddy waiting for something or someone. And so was I. I was waiting for something to actually happen. So, Biddy is raised on a secret magical island with a mage called Rowan and his familiar, a rabbit called Hutch, after being found washed up on the island shore as a baby. Rowan has lived on the island ever since magic has been on the decline, and mages and the like have been banned from using up any more magic and have to join the rest of society and get real jobs. And this is governed by a magical council who is gathering up any source of magic The council has been looking for Rowan and the island for some time because they accuse him of stealing from their magic stores. So, when the council sends some wisps, which are like dementors in that book that person wrote, out over the sea and they spot young Biddy out playing, they try to kill her. So now the council knows where Rowan is, and so for some reason Rowan gets Biddy to go to the real world as live bait for the magical council. When she gets caught, Rowan will swoop in and save the day and put an end to the banned use of magic. There were some other characters in the book, but I'd have to go into way more spoilery details to get it all in. But the main plot of the book and its synopsis was so good, and I think with less words and wasted pages, this could have been a much better book. It was 384 pages and it felt easily twice as many. The author's writing was good, but in my opinion, of course, they concentrated so much on trying to make this a cosy fantasy that they took way too long to get to the point. And again, my opinion, this didn't end up being cosy at all. I didn't like any of the characters except at a push, maybe Hutch. So, second book that took up most of my free time to finish, and the second disappointment. What next? Oh, it's Neil Gaiman. He'll save the day. No, he did not. So, Smoke and Mirrors by Gaiman for the Year of Gaiman read-along. The introduction of this was the whys and wherefores of the stories, how they came about and what they were written for. I thought this was a fun way to introduce the stories to come. In some cases, it was more enjoyable than the actual stories. To begin with, I was taking notes and then I kind of lost interest. But this did have some absolute gems though, so I'm not going to knock it too much. The best short stories for me were Chivalry. This was the Holy Grail story. A woman does indeed find the Holy Grail in a charity shop. What she doesn't plan on is a brave Sir Knight on a magnificent horse coming to her house on a quest for the said Holy Grail. He comes with gifts and trades for it, but each time she declines and gets him to do odd jobs around the house for her. Amazing what you can find in an Oxfam shop, eh? The price. A family who take in waifs and strays of the cat population, getting them fed, defleed, are worried about a certain black cat who seems to be fighting every night or so when it returns one morning with severe battle wounds. The narrator in the family, he bathes and cares for him in the basement, keeping him away from the monster that is attacking the poor black cat. But it seems, while in the basement, the family has a spate of bad luck. The cat recovers and the same things happen and the family go back to their normal routines. Again, the cat is attacked, and so man decides to use night vision binoculars to find out who is bullying this cat. Obviously, he's not expecting what he actually sees, but he does know that he will be forever grateful to this cat guardian and wonders just how long the cat will be able to keep this thing from their door. The Troll Bridge. This was a sad and beautiful story of a man's life, from his earliest memory of a train going under a bridge to his youth when he first met the troll, who wanted to eat his life. He makes a bargain and promises to come back when he's bigger. Again they meet and again they bargain, and he promises to return when he's had more life. This goes on a couple more times until they meet again, and the troll, of course, eats his life. Another one was The Wedding Present. This was a truly wonderful, imaginative story about a young family having been married for some time and starting their family. The wife looks through their wedding album and all the good wish cards that they received when she comes upon a folded letter. In the letter is what she thinks is a cruel joke, a letter that foretells what their married life will be like, except it's all horrible, terrible, awful predictions. She promptly scolds her husband because it must have been from one of his friends, because none of her friends would be so cruel. but she folds it back up and hides it away. But she never forgets about the letter. Every few years she gets it out and reads it, only to find that more and more gets added each time she reads, again with terrible predictions to a miserable married life together, except so far none of them have come true. The best one, I think, was We Can Get Them For You Wholesale. This was so funny. It was about Peter, who is having a really bad day after finding out his fiancée has been having an affair, so he goes through the Yellow Pages and hires pest control to seek revenge for this devious Casanova. But while he is meeting a contract killer in a dodgy pub in a dodgy side of town, he tells him it's £500 or they're doing a buy one get one free. So Peter, the aggrieved man, never one to turn down a bargain, tells the assassin to come back tomorrow while he thinks about who will be his second choice. So he goes home and thinks of another person who really annoyed him to add to the job. But the next day, the assassin changes the price. He got it mixed up with the discounted bulk rate price. Would he like to off 10 people, perhaps? Again and again, Peter Pinter gets a better and better bargain until he's offered the bargain of a lifetime. So, only 5 short stories in the whole book of 30 odd that was in there. Again, this isn't good enough. So I picked up a book that I knew would be a good choice since I'd already read it, and that was Wyrd Sisters by Terry Pratchett. This is book 6 in the Around the Disc in 800 Days readathon that I am continuing on with, and this is our first meeting of more Witches of the Disc, and obviously I loved it. Magrat Garlick is the young witch that is newly initiated and wants to actually perform witchcraft. Some could say that she was the maiden in the story. Obviously, that's a lot of fuss and bother to Granny Weatherwax, the crone, and Nanny Og, the mother, who prefer the system of headology witchiness. This is more of a suggestion that people are very grateful for. So herbs, midwifery, talking tos, sharp stares are the kind of stuff they like to do. But anyway, this is a humorous homage to Shakespeare plays, the likes of Hamlet, Macbeth and King Lear, since this book includes a crew of travelling actors going from town to town performing their plays. 2 of the troupe's actors are given a baby they so achingly want by our 3 witches, and they're told to ask no questions because this baby is heir to the throne of Ankh, and his father, the king, has just been killed by his own treacherous cousin, who is having an affair with the queen, the baby's mother, and if the baby is found, he will be killed so that the cousin gets the throne instead. Obviously, hilarity and the usual bumbling that you would expect in a Terry Pratchett novel ensues until it all turns out all right in the end and everyone goes home and has a cup of tea. See? That book made everything better. Those are the books I've finished, but what am I still reading? I am still reading a chapter a day of The Hobbit, and I'm up to the point where the dragon Smaug is on his way to Lake Town, having just figured out that Bilbo has been helped by the villagers, saying he was a barrel rider. The dwarves are back in their kingdom and the Arkenstone has been found. And I have just started Blindsighted by Karin, the first in the Grant County series. I'm just a couple of chapters in and I think this is one of her books that I have already read before. It is ringing a couple of bells with me, so I will let you know next week my conclusions on that. But so far, a woman has been found in the toilets of the local cafe with her guts hanging out from a brutal slaying. And what luck, the local mortician and paediatrician Sarah Linton is on hand to find her in the disabled loo. So that is it. I still have a lot of books that I wanted to fit in this month, but with only a week to go, I'm not sure how many more I will get to. Have you read everything you wanted to read this month? Did you manage to find any new favourites or hidden gems? Let me know, because as I said, the ones I've read were rubbish. Like if you liked this, and subscribe if you want to stick around for more. I have to say this, I don't like to say it, but it's something that you just have to say on the old booktube. I will leave you as always with a quote from one of the books I've finished this week. There are millions of people out there, of all shapes and sizes, colours and creeds, many of them much like the people in books, trust me. Where do you think all the jam comes from? Make some good book choices this week, my friends, and I hope to see you all again soon. Until next time, bye-bye.